Alright everyone, now we need to talk about the Gaza aid pier. When it was first announced that there was going to be like an offshore pier connected to the shore in Gaza, I supported the idea. I thought it was a good idea because it's like, okay, well you can unload more safely, you can unload more efficiently, and then you can get aid to the people in Palestine more cheaply, saving taxpayers money. You make a little bit of an investment, but because of the flow of aid being so large, in the end, you actually at least break even and probably save a lot of taxpayer money. You also help people more easily, and because it's offshore, you can do it with more unilateral steps. You don't have to necessarily listen to the Israeli authorities so much, so the United States can sort of do its thing. And we're a strong, empowered nation that don't need no fuck. But unfortunately, the Gaza aid pier was a disaster. It was overpriced. It stopped functioning, actually, for a while there because of rough waves, which means, like, the Army Corps of Engineers, I don't think were the ones that were putting it together. It got damaged, and then they couldn't use it for several days. In the end, the amount of aid that was actually distributed was far shy of the total that was supposed to go through the pier. Then USAID and other groups are bitching about it and saying, well, the fact that you built this pier, which didn't even last for the 3 months or so that it was supposed to last before it was dismantled and removed, ultimately just dried up other aid lines over land, when you should have been pressuring Israel to allow more aid through and then trying to create the logistics for that. What was originally a decent idea that I applauded at the time, admittedly. This was one of the few intelligent things the Biden administration did. Quickly became a debacle. It was clear the Biden administration is so disjointed and so piss poor, well, the Biden-Harris administration, peg some of the blame on her too, that they couldn't even set up a floating pier in order to deliver food and medicine to people that are starving and dying of thirst and shit like that. It should have been a no-brainer. What you should have done is send in a bunch of army grunts, give them the materials, and say, fucking slap this shit together. They would have managed better than whoever the fuck was building this pier. It makes absolutely no sense. We just wasted over $100 million and didn't even help anybody. It should have been cut and dry. The idea on paper was good. On paper, the idea saves you money. Instead, we end up hemorrhaging money. Again, helping few people in the process. I'm sure that the aid is appreciated, although you did have that one video where the dude was, bitching about the USMRE that he got. And I think there was the Ratatouille, too, so it's one of the good ones. If you got the white chicken chunks, yes, I would sue, because that's a war crime. Only semi-joking. Really, of all MREs I would rather eat a Ukrainian MRE easily. Yeah, I'd rather eat the Kazakh MRE again instead of the white chicken chunks. The very least, there's a chance that something in there is edible. With the white chicken chunks, no, not really. We're shipping over like crate after crate of MREs and canned goods and stuff like that, medicine, and it made sense. Okay, if we go in through the land, there's a chance the convoy gets attacked. There's a chance that it gets raided by civilians because they're fucking starving. If we can create a choke point, and we have our own little pier, we can guard it more easily. There's going to be no pilfering or anything like that. We can establish a line to send it to the people that need it. And we can do it cheaply because it's going to be easier to offload the goods from the ships, and so everybody wins. Ta-da! If you're going to send aid, that's the way to do it. It's efficient, it makes sense. The Biden administration can't even build a fucking pier. Yeah. Keep in mind that the vice president of the administration wants to take command now and handle all executive functions. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that the administration is batshit. It would have been so easy. God, a group of randomly assembled clankers could probably have figured out how to build the pier in such a way, number one, that it wouldn't have gotten damaged in rough seas, number two, monitoring the weather to know when to assemble it in case of rough seas, and number three, could probably have managed it for an extended period of time. This is not an exaggeration. It doesn't take a genius. The keystones of the pier, the little individual platforms, are basically just interlocking. You just fucking bolt them together. It's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. A few people could probably handle the task. I mean, you need a little more manpower in order to do it quickly enough, but you get my meaning. It should have been simple. It should have worked. There are two things that I've ever commended the Biden administration on. The Gaza pier, I can't commend them on that anymore, and the idea of weatherizing the electrical system by burying the electrical lines, which I think is actually a good idea, which of course means that it never was implemented. That's sort of the point. The only two good ideas of the whole administration, one falls apart and one's not even implemented to begin with, except in a scattered few locations. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how the American people can even entertain the concept of voting for Kamala Harris at this point. She's part of the administration. She's partially culpable with everything that goes on with the administration. At the very least, she's in an advisory capacity for Joe Biden. And Joe has fucked up over and over and over again. And this is probably one of the bigger disasters. Good idea. Terrible carry-through. It's like, how can you screw this up? It's a pier. It's a bunch of floating platforms that you simply sort of hash together so that you can offload shit. How do you screw that up? It doesn't even make any sense. Can you even put a Lego contraption together? Can you even build a Lego set? Probably not. I think Joe Biden is still on Playmobil mode. I don't think that he's advanced to Legos or Technics or something like that. Again, it just doesn't make any sense. It boggles my mind because I thought, hey, the Biden administration is doing something sane. It's doing something that's actually efficient, and it'll save us money. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to give aid, you do it efficiently. They managed to fuck it up. They managed to fuck it up big time. It was only there for a few short weeks, delivering less than half of the aid, if I remember correctly, that was originally scheduled to go through the pier. And then we find out that the Biden administration was told not to do this, or to put it in northern Gaza, because that was where the aid was needed. But they said no. They decided unilaterally to locate it in central Gaza, in an area where it got embattled by rough seas, apparently, and then ran half the aid through it. Well, I mean, so we wasted a shit ton of money. We didn't really help anybody. Yeah, you fed the population of Gaza for like 2 days. Ta-da! Again, that's so great. It's so efficient. That's about all. Peace out.